Byung-yu falls into the valley while hunting a deer. He wakes up to find a man feeding on the deer carcass and searching through his bag. He hides as the man watches him, but when the man looks away, Byung-yu sees that it's a demon with bloody eyes, ready to attack. Shin-gu wakes up to a phone call and informs Gu-hee, his wife, about the death of the ginseng farmer. His mother asks him to eat first before he leaves. While they discuss the incident at the table, Shin-gu's daughter Hyojin walks in and asks, "Who died?" Shin-gu serves her breakfast instead and later drops her off at school. At the crime scene, Gung-gu asks for a raincoat and learns about 2 corpses being found. He asks about the captain, who is already in Seoul. A man is crying non-stop, calling out a name, Hyung-guk. When Jong-gu looks closer, he finds an infected man, his body boiling, sitting nearby. He enters the area and learns that someone had stabbed the bodies 20 times before dragging them there. Jong-gu asks what's wrong with Hyung-guk, and the officer replies that he might be high on something. Jong-gu takes the chief to the crime scene, where they discuss the killer's possible narrative. The chief suggests that the killer might have invited Chu over, killed him, dragged the bodies to his house, and then killed the wife as well. Seon-lulo lights a cigarette and notices a pig and rotting leaves nearby. Just then an officer calls, and they witness something unexpected. Seong-bok tells Jong-gu that it's not a coincidence, that the owner of the corner store went crazy, the mill guy dropped dead, and now these 2 deaths. All of this happened after a Japanese man came to the town. Seong-gu calls him ignorant and asks him to check Hyung-guk's reports, as he believes he might have eaten a strange mushroom and gone crazy, especially after seeing many dried mushrooms in his place. Just then, the lights go out. Seong-bok goes to fix them, but Jong-gu is terrified when he sees someone standing outside. Both of them are frightened. Jong-gu asks Seong-bok to check, but to their surprise, the person has vanished. The next morning, Jong-gu wakes up from a nightmare. Later, he's in a car with his wife, making love, when his daughter knocks on the window. Jong-gu bribes her with a pink hair clip and asks if she saw anything. She replies that it's not the first time she's seen something like that. That night, the police gather and the chief scolds Jong-gu for being late. Jong-gu excuses himself, claiming his mother-in-law was sick. The house is burnt and the owner of the house went crazy. Suddenly, an infected woman bites an officer. Jong-gu tells Song to stop her, but his attempt fails. Then, another infected man attacks Song-gu, and the woman joins in the attack. She eventually runs off, leaving Jong-gu terrified. Everyone watches in shock, and Jong-gu notices the Japanese man standing nearby as well. Later, his daughter brings Jong-gu new clothes. He tells her to go back home, but she drops her hair clip. As Jong-gu bends down to pick it up, he tells Song-bo that he remembers the girl from last night. The one who is standing there, she's the same girl whose house burned down today. Both of them are shocked by the revelation, just as the chief calls them fools. At dawn, a man discovers an infected woman hanging from a tree. Later, the officer tells Jong-gu that the 3 victims were stabbed, and the prime suspect is the woman who hung herself. They're called inside by the officer and find a knife that might be the evidence for the murders. Later, Byung-yu tells Jong-gu that the Japanese man raped the same woman whose house got burned, and she went crazy afterward. She used to walk around naked at night. His wife saw her body, covered in rashes and boils. Jong-gu begins to believe the story now. Jong-gu and Sung-bok are discussing the old man when a woman dressed in white starts throwing pebbles at them. Sung-bok says she does this all day. Jong-gu asks Seong-bok to check with a dermatologist for any medical reports because he believes the rashes on the bodies could be connected to the case. Annoyed by the girl, Jong-gu tells her to stop, but she walks closer and says the old woman brought a shaman to do a ritual there. When the ritual was refused, she killed all of them. Jong-gu asks if she is a family member, but she denies it. She then goes inside to show him something. She shows him the spot where she killed the shaman, smashing her head like a watermelon. She adds that she knows because the old woman told her about the Japanese man, who could have been the one to do this. She warns him to be careful, saying that, if you see him often, it means he's stalking you. Jong-gu's phone rings, and he tells the girl to wait as he quickly calls Sung-bok, saying he has found a witness. But when he returns, the girl is gone. While searching for her, he finds a demon feeding on a deer carcass in the backyard. The demon starts walking toward him, and he runs to save his life. Suddenly, he wakes up and realizes it was just a bad dream. He tells Gu-hee about the dream and notices she brought some medicine. When he asks, he finds out that his daughter Hyojin is sick and has a fever. He asks his wife to take her to the hospital. As they're talking, they both hear a strange noise. The sergeant asks Chang-gu if he found the witness because the chief has heard about it, and if he doesn't find her in time, he is screwed. It's published in the newspaper that the deaths are being linked to crazy mushrooms, but Jungkook doesn't believe it anymore. He reminds Sungbok about Byung-gyu's story of a man eating deer carcass and asks if he knows the man. Later, they go to check with Byung-gyu, who insists he saw it with his own eyes and has evidence to back up his story. He opens his empty fridge, claiming he hasn't been to the mountains to hunt ever since. He describes the man as an adult, naked, except for wearing a diaper, with bloodshot eyes and a body covered in blood, ready to attack. This description shocks Jung-gu. Byung-gyu then shows them a bite mark on his own body and adds that it's connected to the recent deaths of villagers. Jung asks for his location, but Byung only knows he could be found somewhere deep in the valley. Jung, Seong, and Byung are searching for the man in the valley, while Byung points out a rotten deer to prove he wasn't making it up. Suddenly it starts raining, and Byung wants to escape, revealing that the man lives at the top of the hill, as it is the only house there. But Yang insists he come along. In the midst of their argument, Byung falls and rolls down the hill. He's angry and curses them, wishing they be struck by lightning, but fate has other plans. In the hospital, Byung's wife is weeping. Just then, an officer rushes in to call a nurse. Jong goes upstairs to check on Park Ha-young. She is convulsing and eventually dies. Jong and Song are clueless, and Jong notices a woman with rashes on her neck. That night, Jung rushes to see his daughter, who is screaming. Hojin tells her father to do something as a strange man keeps banging on the door and trying to get in. The next morning, Hojin eats a lot of fish, even though she doesn't like it. Noticing this, Jung's mother says something is wrong and decides to consult a shaman. Byung introduces his nephew, Yang Isam, who is a trainee priest and speaks Japanese. They bring him to talk to the Japanese man. As they search his house, they notice the dog barking continuously. Jung opens a locked door and goes inside to find goat heads, revealing that the man was practicing black magic. Meanwhile, Byung also discovers a door hidden under clothes and opens it, finding photographs of all the infected people. Jung rushes to save Yang from the dog, but both of them run for their lives when the leash comes loose. Song stands still, staring at the shoe, while the dog returns to its master. The Japanese man closes the door. Later, Song reveals that the man is a criminal. He takes photos of his victims once they are normal and again after they go mad, collecting their belongings in the process. Song shows Yong a shoe that belongs to Hyojin. Upon reaching home, Jong asks his daughter about the shoe, but she denies that it's hers. She confirms she met the Japanese man, but when Jong asks why she met him, she begins yelling, questioning why it's so important to know, shocking her father with her strange behavior. At night, Yang searches through Hyojin's things while she is sleeping and finds a notebook with strange drawings. He also notices rashes on her skin. She wakes up and starts acting as though she is possessed, saying she is going to kill them all. His mother tells him they need to act quickly, as the shaman has warned her that spirits are around the house. The next day, Zhang asks Yang to come along to speak with the Japanese man. He checks the man's passport and then searches the room. All the photos are gone. The room has been cleaned. Using Yang as a translator, the Japanese man says he burned all the photos in the kitchen. Zhang goes to confirm and asks the man what he's doing there. The man replies that he's just traveling. Zhang, frustrated, tells him to leave quietly before he kills him. In his anger, Zhang smashes everything in the magic room. The dog is unleashed and attacks Zhang, but he kills it in self-defense. He tells the Japanese man to leave in 3 days. Uhyun takes Hyojin to the hospital and later tells her husband that the doctors don't know anything about her disease. The next morning, a black goat is hung outside their house, but he is too injured to get up and check. His mother asks him about the ritual, but he is more concerned about his daughter being alone at home with a neighbor. They rush back home to find that Hyojin has stabbed the lady with scissors and everything is a mess. Jong tells Hyojin not to worry, reassuring her that Papa is a policeman and will handle everything. Seong tells Jong to do something as he has been burning up ever since he returned from the Japanese man's house and is seeing strange things. They call a shaman to treat Hyojin. The shaman breaks a jar and discovers a dead crow inside. He performs a ritual, dancing around Hyojin. She screams and faints. The shaman asks Jong if he has encountered anything recently that he wasn't supposed to meet and disturbed a spirit. Jong tells him about the Japanese man, to which the shaman replies that he is not a man but a ghost. Later, bodies are found at Park Chun-bae's house. The shaman tells Jong that they either need to banish or kill the Japanese man, and that he is going to perform a deadly ritual the next day. He warns Jong that they must stop the evil spirits before they take over the entire village. The Japanese man finds the corpse of Park Chun and goes to buy Black Hen, preparing to wake up Park's spirit. The shaman performs the ritual for Hyojin, while the Japanese man performs a ritual for the spirit of Pak Chun. During the process, Hyojin faints and asks her mother to stop the shaman. She becomes uncontrollable when the shaman nails the wood. At the same time, the Japanese man screams in pain and crawls. Hyojin begs Jong to stop him, and he manages to interrupt the ritual. The Japanese man wakes up and sees the woman in white. Later, Hyojin is in the hospital. Yang takes Jong to a church priest who tells him not to believe in anything he hasn't seen himself and advises him to trust the doctors for his daughter's treatment. Jong decides to investigate whether the Japanese man is a ghost, enlisting the help of his friends. Meanwhile, the Japanese man discovers that Park Chun's corpse is missing. Jung-gu tells everything to his friends and seeks out their help. They gather tools and leave to find the Japanese man. While searching his place, a man notices something moving. It's Park Chun. He tries to attack the man. Jong tries to stop him, but Park Chun bites Jong. Suddenly, Park Chun acts strangely and dies. At the same time, one of them spots the Japanese man and they chase after him. He stops at a dead end and vanishes. Jong and his friends can't find him, and Jong is left crying, desperately saying that he needs to catch him to save his daughter. He lurks up the hill but manages to hide once he drops down. There, he sees the same girl who chases after him. Jong's car crashes into something, hitting the front mirror. They discover it's the Japanese man, and they throw him into the valley. He returns to the hospital and is overwhelmed to see his daughter, hugging her as she finally acts normal. Later, his mother tells Jong to thank the shaman for his efforts, but he ignores the call. Later, Yang receives a call about his uncle Seong, who has killed his landlord. The shaman arrives at Jong's house and his nose starts bleeding. He turns to see the same woman and begins vomiting blood. She tells him to get out. Jong notices the shaman's missed calls. He rushes back home. He lights a candle, but one of them blows out and a crow crashes to the floor. Yang sits in the church, deep in thought. Jong goes to the shaman's house, but the shaman has already left town. As the shaman drives, the car's mirror keeps getting hit by something. He stops the car and gets out, but there's nothing there. He decides to go back. Jong finally takes the shaman's call, who tells him to go back to his house. The shaman adds that he cast the spell on the wrong ghost. The woman is an evil spirit, not the Japanese man. He was trying to kill her to save the people. The shaman is also on his way to Jong's house. Yang goes to the Japanese man's house. Jong discovers that Hyojin is missing and starts running through the streets to find her. He stops and sees the same woman standing in front of him. Jong asks about his daughter. She tells him she is at home and warns him to go back or they all will die. He hesitates, unable to understand. She tells him that the Japanese man is waiting to annihilate his family, but he insists that the Japanese man is dead. She replies that death cannot touch him. Meanwhile, Yang opens a door to a tunnel. The woman tells Jong that the demon he saw in his dream was not just a dream. She had laid a snare to catch the demon. Yang eventually finds the Japanese man. Jung asks her who she is, and she replies, "Just a woman trying to save your daughter." Hyojin enters the home covered in blood, shocking her mother and grandmother. The woman tells Yang that the demon is already at his house. Meanwhile, the shaman calls Jong and warns him not to be tempted by the woman. He urges Jong to go back home to his daughter, but she tries to convince him otherwise, stating that both the shaman and the Japanese man are involved. She asks him to wait for the third crowing of the rooster, as the demon will be scared and the rooster will crow 3 times. Yang asks the Japanese man if his true form is that of a devil, and wonders if he will leave him alone if he reveals his true form. At the first crowing, Jong asks why the Japanese man is doing this. The woman explains that his father committed a sin by killing him, but Jong cannot connect this to his daughter. At the second crowing, she holds him, stopping him from leaving. The Japanese man laughs and tells Yang that no one ever said he was going to leave him. He adds that a ghost cannot have flesh and bones. Jong notices his daughter's hairpin and the lady's sweater, and suddenly he understands. It's her doing. The woman repeats, "Don't do it." At the third crowing, Jung rushes to his house, only to find blood everywhere. His wife and mother are lying dead, while Hyojin stands motionless. Yong keeps calling her name, Kyo-jin. The woman in white cries, while the Japanese man takes Yang's photos, transforming completely into a demon. When the shaman arrives, he sees Hyojin outside, killing all her family. He takes the photographs, but the box slips from his hand, revealing the photos of each victim. Jong recalls his final moments with his daughter, repeating that his father is a policeman and will handle everything.